At Halton near Lancaster, a Saxon church site, ancient carved crosses and a Norman Motte and Bailey sit almost on top of each other. I came here in February in fairly brutal weather to see how these layers of history still survive in the landscape. So this is Keith Myers. I'm freezing. I'm stood seemingly in the middle of nowhere, but actually I'm over at St Wilfrid's Church, which is in Halton near Halton in Lancaster, and I've come here today to see some of the really old sites around St Wilfrid's. I'm actually looking at the Halton Memorial Jubilee Garden sign. Interestingly, we've got the kind of Saxon cross here as well. So we're in the gardens. I'm going to go and show you this Saxon cross in a moment. According to my information, which you can see over there actually, the Saxon cross was in the churchyard. It looks like it's been moved, unless there's another one in the churchyard. We'll go into the churchyard anyway. Also, really interestingly, is we've got a Motte and Bailey, or what's left of a Motte and Bailey. Still got the Motte here above us. Alright, interesting. So to turn this Saxon cross into a memorial, unless that is a replica. It looks like the same one to me. Yeah, it looks Saxon, doesn't it? Unless it's a replica or they've moved it. Looks very similar to the one on the picture I'm seeing, so it must be the same one. Interesting they moved it out of the churchyard. We're going to go into the churchyard anyway, but I mean, look at that. This is a great sign. I'm a big fan of this. We're kind of over here or something and looking up at the Motte, and then there's the church, interestingly. So the church is there, which as I look over here, which will be just over that hill. What stood here was not a later stone castle, but an early Norman timber Motte and Bailey. A wooden tower would have stood on the mound, with a defended bailey below, enclosed by a palisade on an earth bank. So standing high above the River Lune is Halton's Norman Motte and Bailey castle. It would originally consisted of a small wooden fortified tower on top of a motte or mound with a bailey area below, all surrounded by wooden palisade, thence on top of an earth bank. Inside the bailey would have been other buildings associated with running the castle. So, you know, you might have your barracks or your smithies, stables, huts, houses, maybe a hall. Probably built around 1092 by Roger de Poitou, what a Norman name. Halton Castle, one of a string of Motte and Bailey castles along the Lune Valley from Lancaster right to T-Bay. Looks like there was already hill here by the sounds of it. And if you think about places like we do in Warrington, I keep going on about Warrington, don't I? That's because that's where I'm from. But that castle has been flattened in Warrington, whereas you've got places like this that were similarly a natural hill. It hasn't been flattened, but this is actually quite substantial, isn't it? We're very high up. Oh, then going over to the Motte, otherwise known as the clod of earth. The interpretation in old Norman French. Interesting, isn't it? They've got Saxon cross here, which means there would have been a Saxon church, and then you've got, you know, the Normans claiming this as their own, putting their Motte over there. Oh, wow. There's the flag. No, it needs to have a Norman flag up there, doesn't it? Or a Saxon one. We should definitely do that. Oh wow. Pretty amazing view up here. This is what I own. You can imagine a wooden keep being up here. It's freezing today. It's definitely not original, is it? It's charred though, but it's not going to be 1,000 years old. That would have rotted by now. It looks charred, or just broken perhaps. Anyway, you know, trying to fight up this, you've got absolutely no chance, have you? So these fortresses were more or less impregnable, really. You can see the church down at the bottom, actually. You can see the lich gate of the church just down there. So we're going to head over there. Oh, there's the Saxon cross. That's amazing, isn't it? I wonder if the one... Yeah, I think the one outside is a replica. Perhaps this is a lot more worn. You can see that horse, can't you? That's amazing. Not sure what that is, but very interesting. It's almost like a serpent. Stone is very old. So again, a lich gate being the threshold between life and death. Used to be able to see some of these had the sides on where you would rest the coffin. It's a very interesting wall on the back of the church. I see the coat of arms right at the top. Some urns either side. And supported by the Halton Lune Trust. So something historic here. Clearly. Tower that was rebuilt. Obviously Saxon in origin because we've got the evidence of the crosses. Neo-Gothic. So before the Norman conquest of 1066, Halton was the centre of a large manor. It belonged to the Earl Tostig Goodwinson. Sounds very old, doesn't it, that name? There is evidence of a Christian site at Halton, and there's probably an Anglo-Saxon minister there. There may have been a connection to Bishop Wilfrid, 633 to 709 AD, and certainly by 1252 there was a church dedicated to St Wilfrid until the 18th century. It belonged to the Lord of the Manor. The tower was built in the 16th century, so that's what we're seeing today. The most interesting part of Halton for me is the way different traditions seem to overlap here. An early Christian site, Saxon sculpture, Norman power, and even Norse storytelling carved into stone. Okay, so according to my notes, this Halton cross is an Anglo-Saxon Viking high cross. It's famous because it incorporates carvings from an old legend of Sigurd, which is a Norse hero, or he was a Norse hero, alongside Christian imagery. And it's a rare surviving example of this blend of traditions. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? So you've got the Norse, or the Viking, really, in a way, and the Christian traditions coming together on this cross. So perhaps this is Sigurd. Certainly more tangible figurines around this, like the horse we had a look at before, and certainly at the top there, can't get the camera up, but you can see the engravings are more pronounced. So yeah, this is really interesting. Halton is a small place, but it holds a remarkable concentration of history, Saxon faith, Norman control, river power, and even a Norse legend, all within a few minutes walk. Where we're going next definitely has Viking origins.